Alright, welcome back to Do-It-Myself Garage. I already test fit one of the control arms. I'm going to get the other upper control arm on here, and then I'll get the other two trailing arms on, and then we can scooter under the car and maybe get the suspension back together. Should be good. I don't know what I'm doing, but that looks right. If I'm wrong, I'll have to take it apart. I did buy the sway arm kit for the rear of this car. It did not have it on there. So when you install your lower control arms, I bought these trailing arms. They are already boxed. So you want to install these to the back, because that's where the bolts for the sway bar go. Otherwise it really wouldn't matter, but since I need to have the mounting holes for that, these will go down in here, and I'll get them in there, and then we'll see about getting this thing under the car. I don't know if I get to it tonight, but we're getting this axle under the car this weekend at the very least. Sorry you didn't get to see me struggle. Threw her on the creeper. We can get it under there without dragging it across the floor, since I got it all nice and painted up. Roll her under there. Got to get the exhaust up over that. So I'll roll it over and then probably have to reposition the camera here. We'll get it close. We're going to get the hardware and we'll get that up onto there. Alright. I got the other side wrestled up onto a jack stand. I'm going to do the same thing here. Hopefully I'm fairly close to center. Now I want to put my back out here. Come on. Alright, let's see if I can get this up on here. It's easier said than done. I suppose I could use the floor jack. Which one is that? Alright, so now the axle's tilted. I'll get the floor jack under that to get that tilted up. Alright, so to make things a little bit easier, I realize I've got the car up quite a ways. So I think I'm going to lower the car, then I don't have to lift the axle as high. Let's try that. Alright, so many interruptions today. I lowered the car, which helped quite a bit. I got the other side started already. And this side is pretty much lined up now too. At first I was thinking maybe maybe attaching those was a bad thing. Oh, okay, come on. But no, having those attached worked just perfect. And now it's just a matter of getting the bolt. Okay, that one yet. I'm gonna go to the other side because it wasn't completely lined up, and go to the other side and do the same thing. Sorry, you really can't see what I'm doing, but I don't have a lift and I don't have a really good stand. I suppose I could crank this out a little bit more here. Show you, all I was doing was that upper control arm in there. You can see that bolt. Turn off this light. Maybe I was doing, yeah, still gonna get some strobing, but you can see that bolt I put in the upper control arm. And I've got the differential on the jack so it, you know, kind of get the angle right, and or at least get it close so I could get those arms in there, and that worked perfect. So let's go ahead. I'll get the, whoa, sorry about that. I'll get the other bolt in there, at least get the nuts on them, and then we'll do the trailing arms. Alright, so the whole plan of getting that axle under there is got to be able to set it on the ground. And I went with QA1, okay, single adjustable coilovers. I've already assembled one of them, so I was practicing last night. So I'll assemble the other one with you so you can see how that's done. I left some gap here so I could get my get some anti-seize down inside of here. You got to have anti-seize or you'll void your warranty. Where did the anti-seize go? I thought I threw it in the box. Oh, I think it's in with the hardware here. Hold on. Ah, there it is. Anti-seize right there. Permatex. I picked that up at the AutoZone. Not sponsored. Not sponsored by QA1 either. I paid it the same price as you would on this. Alright, so like I say, I already assembled one of them. We're going to go ahead and assemble the second one so you can see what's going on. If you turn this knob all the way down, so counterclockwise, turn it till it stops, you can pull this thing apart pretty easily. Okay, let me tilt you down just a little bit here. So yeah, I'm in the middle of my work area. Now I'm just going to open these up. This part, the sleeve, goes inside of here. Actually, I installed it on the wrong one last night. Just pushes in there, and it does push pretty hard. So I mean, it's snug, but it's not like you need a press. But she does go in there pretty tight. Alright, so got that one in there. Let's go back to the one we need to assemble. I did not order the extra bearing kit for this, and I'll show you in a minute what I mean by that. By the way, if you want to watch an actual assembly video, QA1 has some great videos on their site. This is more of a, hey, this is what I figured out and I'm doing. So, if you really want to see the installation video, go to QA1, to their website. I'm in Minnesota. They are a Minnesota-based company. I should go down to tour them sometime. I think I mentioned before, I'm a machinist by trade, so that'd be really kind of interesting to see their manufacturing facility. Alright, first thing you do is on this piece here, and I'm going to try to show details today because some of the videos I watch, they just kind of skirt through it. But there's this thin ring, okay? And on this thin ring, there's this lip. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there we go. There's a lip on here, okay? The other side does not have a lip, okay? The side with the lip goes up. So that goes on to here, slides all the way down. You do not have to put the anti-seize on here to start with. Otherwise you make a mess out of the whole thing. So, I'm going to bring them down to the bottom and then back them off just a little bit. Okay. This piece. This just goes on so the flat side is down. And this part with the bigger ring goes up because that's actually where the spring's going to sit in that. Okay? Same thing here. This guy goes down on here. I'm going to leave a little space here so I have room to put my anti-seize in there. Actually, I could do that now that I'm thinking about it. I just didn't want to open the anti-seize container when I didn't need it. Okay. Poke our little anti-seize, poke that open. Can I even get it in there? Maybe that was a bad idea. Ooh, oh, that was close. All right. Get that on there. I'm trying not to make a huge mess here. And I made a huge mess. But you definitely want that stuff on there. Aluminum is really bad about galling. If you've worked around aluminum at all, you'll know what I mean. This stuff is real bad if you don't have a lubrication. Aluminum being so soft will just tear up. So you want to have, my understanding is you want to have this stuff at the bottom of the travel when you first install it. This is my first time installing these, so I'm right there with you. Okay, got anti-seize on both parts. Okay, now there's this ring that goes on next. That sits right on there. That helps this rotate as you're rotating this. There is a bearing you can put in here. What's it called? I believe it's a Timken bearing. So it's a metal bearing and then metal. So it allows that to spin. But you don't have to have that. But it does make it. If you're a person that goes to the track all the time, probably a good idea to get that if you're going to be adjusting them all the time. Average person on the road, probably not a big deal. Okay, so up here, this part here, so I got down here, I pulled this shock all the way out, max distance, okay? And all you gotta do is just tuck this piece in here, and she's good to go. I chose to line this piece up over here. It doesn't really matter. They didn't say anything about having where you line this lock ring up, but it does slide up under there. And that's what holds that together. That's your shocks are installed now, and obviously the you can turn the pieces to match up to wherever it lines up on your vehicle. All right, let me put something back here so this doesn't roll off the freezer. Okay. All right. So I spent a little time last night assembling these. My only disappointment so far with the kit is that all the nuts and bolts just came in a bag. Nothing labeled, anything, nothing separated. So I went ahead and separated out all the washers. There are 2 washers that are cut into, and I'll show you where those go later. They're for clearance because there's not quite enough room in the one spot. Got all the washers. I just put them on a paper clip so I wouldn't lose them. I put all the bolts and nuts together so I wouldn't lose any. So the instructions, are decent. The biggest thing is getting this left-hand side one together. And once you get that together and see how that works, obviously I don't have anything tight yet. Well, then basically you just make the mirror image of that with the right-hand side one. Okay, so they're going to go on there onto the car like this and like this. Let's see, about like that. But anyway, you just make the mirror image of the pieces, okay? Then there's a little bag in there that's going to have these two little rings. Those rings, I'm just going to show you where they go right now. So if I forget later, when you go to put this up in the car, once you have this mounted up in here, this goes on here, okay? And this ring goes on the inside of the bracket. Then you put this other ring on here. Pushes through. And what that does is that acts like a bushing. So your shock can move up and down. So when you tighten this down, that you don't pinch that so it can't move. It still has movement. So that's what those 2 pieces do, is they establish that width and give it a little bit extra free play in there so that can move. Okay, so we can't have that together right now, so I'm going to take that apart. But I just wanted to show you how that went. Like I say, I spent a lot of time going through the instructions last night, watching their installation videos, watching some other people's installation videos. So the next step is to get these 2 brackets mounted on the car up where the original shock mounts were. Okay, and these are going to be left and right. Okay, and the reason that these go toward the farthest toward the back of the car as you can, and I'll show you. They should probably really only fit in there one way. I'll find out when I get up in there. Again, I've never done this before. It's not so much a how-to, but it's more like a how-did. And show you what I'm doing to get it done. Let's get crawled up under the car if we can, and see if we can't get. I'll probably only do one side on camera, and then let's see if I can get my camera up under there. I think I'm going to jack the car up a little higher again so it makes some more room for myself. Try to get some film of this, and then you'll have something to go with. So what I did here is brought the bracket up and put it into place and marked the center of the hole. That's about the center of mass on that thing. It looks like it's pretty straight. That's what we're going to go with. I'll drill my 1/2-inch hole there for my other bolt. And I just have the other bolt in the hole down here. It fits really tight, so Get to be real careful to try to get that on center. Looks like I might be just a tidge high. It'll be close. So anyway, we gotta get that hole drilled in that bracket. So that's the bracket that's right next to the brake. It's where the old shocks mount. So it's gonna mount on here now, on this bracket, and then that kicks it to the side, so that if you do get, you know, big disc brakes, you have plenty of room. At least that's one of their advertising points. All right, so the other thing I got to do then is go up here and get this other bracket put in up where this old shock mount is, right up in here. You can see the holes for that. So I got to get the other piece put up in here. So we'll see what we can do about filming this. I just have to talk you through it. It should be pretty straightforward. But this is one of the first holes you want to drill and get this bracket mounted in here, and then we'll go from there. Alright, got that hole drilled, got that in there. Apologize for this flashing on the camera, but anyway, got that in there. I'll get that bolted up, and then we can put these brackets on, and then I can do that top bracket. Just gonna mention this really quick. All of these fasteners pretty much get a washer front and back. So I took this apart, put the washer on the front, one goes on the back with the nut. I got my hole drilled up there. I ended up having to go one size up because I center punched it, but apparently I was off a little bit. So there is a slot for this direction, but not for this direction. Or, yeah, anyway. I ended up having to, it'll be fine. So now, basically you put it in here, the stud goes in this rearmost hole, so the hole that's right next to where the gas tank's gonna go, and these other two just get regular bolts through them. So the stud goes through the top, put a nut and washer on there, and the other two bolts go through here. Again, washers on both sides of these, a washer and the nut on the top of that, and then the torque specs are in the kit. Alright, if a person had a lift, you can maybe get the nuts on the other side. This one was pretty easy because it's really close to the edge. This one's way far back. Whoops, sorry. This one's way far back in here, so when you're laying on your back, it makes it almost impossible. So I dropped the bolt in using a magnet, fished it in there with the washer. Everything's torqued up. This is all on here. I got to torque this up now and get the rest of this bracket on, and then we can install our coilover. Alright, so I'm not going to mention any torque settings for the simple fact that each kit they have may have different settings, so I don't want to give the wrong information. Again, this is mostly just me working in the garage and you following along. It's kind of an encouragement that you can do this stuff yourself. That's why the channel is called DoItMyselfGarage. And so far I got this whole axle pretty much in here by myself. So, and yes, I got this whole axle up in place by myself. I know I didn't show it. I wasn't cheating. I didn't have anybody help me. I had someone available, but I didn't want to bother them if I didn't have to. And my arm's going to probably be in the way for a lot of this, but yeah, it is what it is. I'll be close enough for right now. Okay, get the rest of this bracket on here and get this shock in here. Almost forgot to start recording here. So, got this in here. This side bracket needs a hole drilled into the shock mount also. And I guess I forgot to do that. Should have been done first. Yeah, you got to do that before you get all the bolts in here. But I'm not sure how you do it with it to know exactly where you're going to get it. I'm going to have to put another smaller bolt in here, a shorter bolt, to kind of hold that. so that we don't run into a problem here. Huh. Maybe I'll run the bolt this way. There we go. Then I'll run a bolt. I'll grab a non-locking nut and put it on there so I can get to the side of this bracket mounted. Alright, so maybe I missed it in the instructions, and I got really lucky where I put this. But I actually have just a tiny little bit of a gap. I mean, 32nd of an inch in here. Barely get my fingernail in there. But that'll pull up tight. But that's something to be aware of. Bolt this thing together. Get these two holes drilled first. Because I kind of guessed at this one, you know, where it was going to be. And I forgot about this side hole. I just realized how much more work I made for myself. These brackets could have been mounted while I had the axle of the car. I could have mounted that bracket up top without the axle in the car. been a lot less reaching around stuff, but we're getting there. So I got that hole drilled on the back side here. Got that bolt through. So I got this. This is all ready to bolt together now. Just gonna not quite tighten this up all the way because I still need to get the shock in here. But I wanted to get this like close. This kit is pretty nice. It has all nylocks, so you don't have to worry about using Loctite about stuff coming loose. Let's get that shock up in there. This is mounted solid. Let me torque those real quick. Then I'll go grab my shock and we'll get this mounted up in there. Alright, got those torqued. Battery went dead. Let's get the spring up in here. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you this. Although I do need to get the bolt to the bottom here. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this on here. I don't know why that was so hard to go up in there. So all my fasteners are torqued down. I still haven't torqued down my bolts on my upper and lower connecting rod, so gotta remember, or upper and lower trailing arms. Gotta remember to do that. Oh, crap. Oh. Okay. Alright. Down to the nylon part now. Alright. So now, let's get this other piece. Okay, I'll get some light on it. So anyway, just bring this over. Should go right in here. Alright, so washer on the outside. Check. Washer on the inside. Check. At least the first half of the inside. Lay those on the floor for now. There's a little bit of a torque here. Because you're kind of, that upper mount has a little bit of a, I don't know if it's preload or what do you want to call that, but maybe I'll leave that inside washer off till I get it over here. Well, it's probably because I'm not completely in place here. With my axle, I'm all over the place. Alright, so this washer's got to go in between here. This ought to be interesting. Maybe I should have done this in first. Huh. Well, hindsight. What can you say? Hindsight 2020. Alright, so definitely got to back these out. These are too tight. wondering. Yeah, I mean, there we go. Oh, there we go. I'm pretty sure that's not the way you're supposed to do that. Alright. One in. I just gotta tighten all that up. Should be going should be good. My adjustment. I'm thinking if I had my exhaust is gonna come up a bit. It'll be up about here. I kind of give you an idea. My exhaust will be it's gonna be up. I gotta fish it over some other stuff over here. Anyway, my exhaust will be up, and it should clear. Yeah, my exhaust is gonna clear this spring system, which is freaking awesome. I heard a lot of other guys complaining that they didn't clear. I'll make it clear. But anyway, if I put the adjustment over here, it'll be right by the exhaust. So I think I'm going to leave it on the inside here. I think that's the best. I think that's the best bet. I can still get in here and turn this. It would be probably more convenient to be on the outside. But I'm thinking that exhaust is going to be, well, shoot, what should I do? Now's the time to fix it. Spin it around if I want to do it. I have to, I'm thinking the tire's going to be in the way. Yeah, I'm going to have to move that. So, she's in there. Let me get these tightened up. Wish I could say that was a great place to stop, but would like to get it all finished. At least now I can get in here, do this, because I got to think about, I got to reach in behind the tire. My exhaust should be up about here. It should clear. I know it's got to come back a little bit, so I might have a little bit of interference. If it does, I'll bring it in. I had this all custom bent. This was not a factory exhaust. I had this all custom bent, so I can bring it up to him, and he can, you know, tweak one of the bends to get her to fit. But oh goodness, I think that's about all I'm going to have time for today. If I get around to getting the rest of this done and get the other one done, get it on the floor, I'll show that. But otherwise, I think that's about it. Well, I thought I was done. Then 2 hours later, I actually went ahead and put it all together. I just couldn't stop at that point. Got both installed, both sides. They're set at the lowest tension possible. They're set for the highest ride height standard, and that's obviously before I crank up the coils. So it just looks a little low to me, but it's hard to tell because the front end is so high in the air with no engine or transmission. So we'll see. I looked at some photos online, and actually where the tire comes inside the wheel well there is pretty much stock height. Should be pretty close. Like I said, I haven't cranked up the springs at all. So just want to give a shout out to Shopcat Industries. Him and I kind of do the same thing, projects around the house, working on cars. I just want to give out a shout out to him. He's kind enough to comment on some of my stuff. So Heavy Pedal Garage, same thing. Another guy. He's got a Pontiac. He's working on it. So give a shout out to a couple other smaller YouTubers here. You know, myself included. So thanks for following along. Like, subscribe, comment if you like. The QA1. It's a really nice setup. I'm hoping the sway bar and the QA1 coilovers in the rear are going to make a huge difference with handling. I'm gonna have a lot more power. I'm gonna have posi in the rear, and it's gonna be a fun car once I get her rolling. Thanks for following along. See you in the next video, everybody. Take care. Bye.